I'm Rob Port from SayAnythingBlog.com, North Dakota's most popular political blog. Here with State Board of Higher Ed member Claus Lembke, who announced his decision to step down from the State Board of Higher Education today. Klaus, the media reports that I've read say that it's a lot of work, it's a full-time job, and that there's been a lot of criticism and scrutiny of the State Board of Higher Education, and that fed into your decision to step down. Can you give us a little bit more about why you made that decision?
Well, the main thing is that it entailed a lot more work than I had anticipated, and I thought it might be easier in a few years. But I've been on there almost 3 years, and it seems to get more work instead of less. And so I decided that it's going to affect my other job. I'm a lobbyist, and I'm losing effectiveness there. Before they cancel my contract, I figured I need to let go of one or the other. So I decided that the Board of Higher Ed was the one I needed to let go.
What was causing the increase in the amount of time it was taken out of your schedule?
Well, I suppose I got more involved, and you learn more things. You go to more events, so you get on more committees, and and basically. If you do more, I was on the Chancellor Search Committee, and that took days and days and days, which I knew they're going in, but it's just, when you become a fairly key person, they just put more on you all the time.
Associated Press reporter Dale Wetzel posted on Twitter that one of the reasons was that you were tired of hearing about the Board of Higher Education in the coffee shop. Explain that for us.
Well, it isn't that I was tired of hearing. I was just tired of hearing only the negative. It wasn't at the coffee shop. It was at the friend's funeral. It was at the state legislature. It was at committee meetings. It was at home. It was all over. And most of the time people were harping on a negative. And that's they're doing so many good things that of course it contributed to my decision to leave the board.
So you felt that there was too much accentuation, and obviously, we've had the situation at Dickinson State University. There's always a lot of controversy over spending and things like that, and you just felt like there's too much criticism of the board?
Well, there certainly wasn't enough of the good part that they're doing. I don't remember ever reading anywhere that the employers were over 99% satisfied with what we produced, with workforce, with ready workforce. I've not seen that anywhere, but we reported it at several places. So that's just an example, Rob.
Yeah, just one example. So as you step down, and obviously this has been a trend. When was your term up? You said you had completed 3 years. It's a 4-year term. Was your term up this year?
No. I had one more year to go.
You had one more year. So your term would have been up next year, and you decided to terminate a year early. And obviously, we've seen former President John Baucus terminated or stepped down, I guess, after one term. And Mike Haugen is also stepping down after one term. But basically what you're saying is it just got to be too much of a time commitment, too much time for your job, taken up with the State Board of Higher Education. And basically you had to choose one or the other.
That's correct. I mean, if you talk to Baucus, I got the feeling that was his reason too, that he didn't go for another term.
Do you think there's something that they could fix? I mean, obviously the appointees, it's a part-time job. I mean, it's not a full-time job when you get appointed to the State Board of Higher Ed. Is there some sort of reform that could take place that could make it easier for people such as yourself to serve on the board?
Well, I hope that some fresh blood. I think some other people can take over. I hope that'll make a difference, and maybe the new chancellor will make a difference. At least that's my hope. I have no guarantee, but at least that's my hope.
All right. There's been talk of reforming the Board of Higher Education and changing the way the university system is governed. I know House Majority Leader Al Carlson has talked about it, as well as some others, including myself, frankly, talking about putting the Board of Higher Ed under the governor or under the purview of an elected chancellor or something like that. What do you make of those sorts of reforms?
Well, of course I heard them, and they obviously can do whatever they want to do, but at the same time, they don't seem to give us a chance to make it right. And we have righted so many things, but you know, like recently in the Tribune, they talked about the president's house in Fargo. Well, we have righted that a couple of years ago already. So, you know, why are they still talking about that? I don't know if it's really all that broken, Rob. I think it can work with a little more cooperation, a little more respect for each other, and at the same time, we as the board, at least I always felt, you know, we can't bite the hand that feeds us. That's the legislature, you know.
Do you feel like you talk about the spirit of cooperation, and obviously there's been some, you know, obviously some rancor between the legislature and higher education, you know, as one specific example, North Dakota State University asking for a tuition increase. Do you think there's things that higher ed could do, and we've talked about the legislature, but things that higher ed could do to have a better relationship with the legislature and maybe the rest of the state government?
Yeah, I think they do, and I think Grant is working on that. He has instituted a plan that probably will take a couple of years to totally implement, but he's going with a base budget, and the legislative leadership knows that too. We want to start out, or I should say, not we anymore. Again, the board wants to start out with a base budget so that you can have a little better accountability instead of you know, the 18, 19% increases each year. We realized that was asking a lot, you know, but on the other hand, not last session, but the session before, we asked for 19% and got 21. So, you know, there's a lot of good legislators that really believe in the institution. But I know that Grant is working on a proposal that would put a base in there, and based on that, you would make reasonable increases of maybe cost of living, etc.
All right, Claus, thank you so much for your time. One last question, I guess I should ask: you're stepping down. Is that immediate, or is there are you going to be serving for a little bit longer?
No, I served notice of resignation on Friday, effective immediately.
Effective immediately. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Claus.
All right. Thank you, Rob.